Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soul Channel. We're so glad you're here. I am so excited to share the information that Elisenda has for you today. Soul Channel is a place for seekers to gather, to create clarity, to raise consciousness, to normalize spirituality, and change the world. And today, our guest is Elisenda. She is a transpersonal life, leadership, and team coach, as well as a music therapist. She supports psychic millennials to become spiritual entrepreneurs and birth new earth products and services. Wow, talk about a way to change the world. So welcome. It's so good to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Teresa, for inviting me. I'm really very grateful to have this opportunity and to meet your audience. Thank you for being here with us today.
Oh, I'm so excited because we've had a few conversations and we're so like-minded. We just vibe with the exact same information, and the way that you present it, I think really opens doors for people. So tell me a little bit about your thoughts on spiritual entrepreneurship.
Yeah, spiritual entrepreneurship, I feel it's something which is arising within us at the moment that we are uncovering step by step. It's like we already see parts of it and others we will still uncover. And it's like for the whole entrepreneurial network so that we can exchange in this new reality that it's gonna work. It might still take some time because it's like we still have to manifest certain elements. But we can already start. I think that's the great point that we have in the last years or decades really evolved and gone through such a big journey to connect to who we are that now we are ready to manifest from a different space. I studied economics in the 90s, and it's like it was studying economics on a level of the mind, very rational, very masculine. And I felt, okay, if we do this, we might distract ourselves and the earth maybe as well, because it's just always wanting more. And it's like things are getting out of balance. So I was always searching for a way, how can we do it differently in the future so that we can actually be in harmony with who we are, with our environment, with all the living beings around on Earth, and who knows beyond even in the future.
Yes,
And,
absolutely.
so like the main thing for me to do spiritual entrepreneurship is to really start from within. So it's like we have this divine spark within, and we always get spiritual guidance. Usually, like we are called to become spiritual entrepreneurs. It might come in very subtle, like I mean, many years ago, I had this feeling, hey, there is more potential inside of myself. I would like to serve more. I was frustrated in the job. I was like just contributing a little bit. I felt like there is so much more I can have to give. And there is no way I'm doing it at the moment. And I was also interested in alternative health. So it's like it can come up like this, like a new interest or a hunch here or there. Or it can come in like a really strong calling. Like for the activity that I'm doing now, it was really, I was sitting in a meditation. It was like a real clear message. Ellie, you have a change of mission. You are going now from plugging people out of the dirt. You are helping them to create the new whatever and how that's gonna be. So it's like the call can come in really in different ways. And then usually what we do when we get the call is that we resist. We really don't want to.
Well, let me back
Yeah,
up just a minute because I really want to highlight what you just said,
yeah,
because I think that there's so many people out there that identify with being in that job that is in a box, right? You do these things and nothing else. And you're using 5% of your abilities. And so it's boring. And slowly it becomes, for me, I'm speaking on my behalf, it became soul crushing. It just became so, I was so sad and so unfulfilled. And for me, that knock, you're right, I resisted, but a lot of people don't know what that knock is. Can we talk about that a little bit? How do we recognize when our spirit is calling us to something greater? You alluded to a few things when you were talking, but I want
yeah.
to I want to give it a little more space, because especially as you talk to millennials, they're in that job. They're doing that job and they're looking for that knock. So if we can give them clues on how to identify what that knock is, we're going to be able to create the people who are going to change our world, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm
So
so
how
proud
does
of
the
them
knock
already.
come? Yeah,
It's like we have paved them the way and they can really do a great job. Yeah.
yeah, agreed.
It's such a great question. I also can refer about like what I have seen with myself. Um, I would add, for example, it can be physical symptoms. For
Hmm.
example, when I was in my last traditional job, I would get such back pain that I just like, I felt like I can't even go forward because I
Yeah,
felt I'm not really ready to jump into entrepreneurship because I have to give up my security. So it's like, we have those fears as well showing up. It's like we want, but we don't know how we're going to manage, how we're going to do it. And so it's like this back pain was getting so much that it's like, okay, I was going to therapy and my osteopath was saying, you know, I think it's your job. So it can come with a physical symptom or even someone else telling us, hey, this is not the right thing anymore. Yeah.
yeah,
Can even
yep,
be like, I don't know, your boyfriend or your a friend of yours that says, hey, it feels like you're not really happy in your job. And you say, it's true. But it's like, I don't want to really admit it to myself.
yeah,
And it's like when we resist, it's like life will give you more hunches to really go for it. Or
yeah,
like in my case with this uh, job I had, it was like getting so painful to be in the job because it's like the environment was really toxic. And I felt like, okay, yes, I'm putting a lot of energy in, but it's like I'm not really valued for who I am there. It's like my real potential isn't even seen. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's like also this, I think we feel it deep inside that there is more.
yep,
Yeah. And
yeah,
that can also be a sign. Or I think a big one is burnout as well.
yeah,
Like this feeling of complete exhaustion of like, I can't do this anymore. Because very often when it's like when we are like in our life, we have done something, experienced something, and it's coming to an end, it shows up as exhaustion and tiredness. And it's like, even if you just, let's say, treat the burnout and then come back, it's like, it doesn't change because you're
right.
still in a place that doesn't really align with who you are and with your purpose. Yeah. And the other thing
Agreed.
that I've also heard from my clients is like, they say, I don't really want to work for someone else anymore because it doesn't feel like um, I'm really doing what's my thing. I still maybe don't know what my thing is because I haven't yet uncovered my purpose, but I feel this is not the way anymore. I feel too restricted. I feel I don't just want to follow orders. And from what I see now, it's like it's someone else's purpose that I'm helping to manifest, right? But it's
Yeah.
maybe not my purpose. And it's like then at a certain point, the more we get to know ourselves, the stronger it is like this doesn't fit anymore and doesn't
Yeah.
resonate. And I think you mentioned this also, like not feeling fulfilled and knowing that you have maybe more talents to share, even if you don't know yet how you're gonna turn it into an entrepreneurial activity. It's like when the call is there, there is no clarity yet. There's maybe not clarity of purpose or what exactly you're gonna do, but it's just this feeling of unsatisfaction or pain or frustration. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The discomfort becomes so overt that you have to switch. And I wanted to, I, for me, it was going into the office, and because of all the electronics, I I had an office overlooking the river. It was a beautiful office, but I was surrounded by cubes and electronics. And for me, I'd go into my office and I'd leave the light off because it was giving me a headache. I couldn't be with that much electronic activity. And
Mhm.
I also want to add, this video might be the message. It's time to look into something different, right? Because
Yes.
messages also come from conversations you overhear, or, you're already feeling that nudge. And our job is to get curious. What does that nudge mean? What is that nudge telling me, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah.
like what I can tell those that are having the nudge is that you don't have to know it all beforehand, because it's like you will be shown step by step. And
Yeah.
at the beginning, it's like sometimes I compare it with becoming a mom. It's like you don't know what it's gonna be like because you haven't had it before. But still, it's like you feel you want to go for it, even if you know that it's gonna be difficult, but you still go for it. And I feel entrepreneurship is very similar. It's like you in it's like it's like a real evolutionary step within ourselves,
Yeah.
because for example, when we move out from our parents, it's like we say, oh my God, they have been doing the washing and this and this and this, but it was comfortable, right? But at a certain point, we feel like we have to move out because we have to do our own thing. The same
Yeah.
is like, if I have been going to a job, it's like everything has been taken care of. Every month, the paycheck comes in, it's comfortable. I don't have to think what exactly where the company is going. And it's comfortable for a certain time, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, I think I want to move out. I want to explore something different. And because it's like I have so much creativity, I have so much to give that I need another container that it's going to bring this potential out. And I feel spiritual entrepreneurship is like a wonderful tool for ourselves to grow on a personal level, on a relationship level, on a spiritual level, and like becoming really the light that's shining in the world. It's like, yes, the light is always there, but how can we transform it into something that is like becoming really something tangible and
Hmm.
visible that we can give to others? It's like already this process of bringing it out is magical, and it transforms ourselves, I feel. And then when we have this interaction and we really see how other lives are transformed, how we can be of service to others. It's such a great fulfillment. And I don't say I have everything figured out after many years of entrepreneurship. It's like there is always another level, another step further that I am discovering about myself. And like there is so much potential in here still that I can always do another one. And I feel this is really challenging, but so fulfilling at the same time.
Oh, I agree 100%. And I think for me, you just described the evolutionary journey. We never stop learning and growing. And for my personality, for who I am, which is naturally curious and optimistic, the entrepreneurial journey is comfortable in its discomfort. It gives me the outlet to be able to evolve myself, which in turn I then share with the individuals I coach or teach or mentor. And all of a sudden, what you just described is happening, right? Now you're spreading your creative genius in the world. I love that. Very well said. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and what I'm was seeing like with a lot of entrepreneurs that have tried like the traditional way, it's like they have put all their energy and focus to create their business, and it's like other parts of their life have come off balance. For
Yeah.
example, their health. It's like, yes, they get their success for their business, but they pay a big price. Their health might decline, or they might have had a beautiful family, but they have no time to be home anymore. It's like they lose out this connection with their wife and their children. And it's like the other parts of their life are suffering.
Yeah.
And I feel like spiritual entrepreneurship allows us to find a way that we grow maybe slower, but on all levels. It's like what I would recommend everyone is like start so small that you can manage it. Yeah, that you can still manage your family, you can still manage your relationships and your health and give what you can. And then slowly, slowly you grow yourself, and slowly, slowly this whole life that stays in balance will continue. And another way that you can always check in on you if you're still on track is, are you still feeling joy? Uh, is
Mhm.
this still joyful for you? Because sometimes like we are getting so in this, let's go for it. And we like physically contract because we want to just get out there, that the joy stops flowing. And I feel this is always important to come back to this sense of joy and sense of balance. And the third one would be to stay in flow. So it's like, am I still, I'm noticing it even with myself. Sometimes I'm so focused on my goal that I'm in the doing that I forget to receive still like the information and go into this openness where synchronicity can
Yeah.
happen. And so it's like to balance this out, to stay in flow of receiving and receiving the information, transforming it, and do an inspired action. And it's like to always see that this stays in a flow, a joyful flow.
Yeah. I love that. And I agree because we can't, it's the watering can analogy. You can't water the flowers. You can't give unless your can is full. So you have to fill yourself up first. And I think for me, by definition, that's what spiritual entrepreneurship is about. Spiritual entrepreneurship is thriving in all areas of your life, with your partner, with nature, with your animals, with if you have children, with your friends, with all of the things that feed your soul, so that when you're ready to express in your brilliance and what you're here to deliver to the world, it is a natural, joyful, happy expression, as opposed to, we've grown up in a society where, you work long hours, you're expected to produce. Everything is measured and results oriented. And they're typically tied to a metric that has a dollar or a time. And yet, what I'm hearing from you is the most important metric to measure is, how do you feel? Does it feel right? Are you in flow? Are you happy and joyful? And are you equally feeding all areas of your life? And I think that's brilliant advice, because it absolutely, it negates the societal norms that we've been taught. And I can tell you from personal experience, again, I'm going to speak from my own experience because I don't want to project anything onto anybody in our audience, but I do need to remind myself every once in a while, slow down, uh, and go play with the dog, go for a walk in the forest, all of those things. So good advice. Good advice. Thank you.
You're
So some
welcome.
of the things that you talked about when you and I got together before this was the 5 phases of conscious creation. Have we touched upon some of them? And can we just do a laundry list of what those are?
Yes, yes, definitely. Um, so the first step is to really connect to yourself. That would be
Mhm.
number one. It's like to really be in the state of pure consciousness where all is already there in a potential form.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever we are gonna manifest is already there, but in a potential. So it's like to connect there and ask, okay, what is it that I am supposed to create? It's like be receptive. It's like get this inspiration,
Mhm.
and it's a bit like a seed, it's like get this inspiration and cultivate the love. Like when you are like getting pregnant, it's like cultivate the love for what's growing uh, inside of you. Yeah, that
Yeah.
spark. Because at the beginning of entrepreneurship, it's like there's nothing visible to the outside, because it's first in our unconscious, and even ourselves, we don't see it yet. Yeah. So the first phase, like the first is like to receive with this connection, and the second phase is the forming part. It's like it's forming inside yourself without you knowing. It's in the unconscious, and yes, you can tap in, and it's a phase where actually we intuitively navigate the different options. It's like, yes, I could do this, I could do that, but at a certain point, it's like we need to decide what is it from all the different ones that are there. It's like, okay, let me pick those few stars that I'm gonna manifest this way, because yes, I can manifest a lot more, but one at a time, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
make it a
Yeah.
bit precise. Yeah. And it's like slowly, this, whatever it's growing, becomes a bit more clear. It's like you can tap into, and I feel like this is where spiritual entrepreneurs are having a real advantage, because they have already developed some spiritual skills like intuition and like the imagination, like to see something in their inner mind,
Yeah.
get pictures or sensations or dreams or some hunches. So it's like this is real really great to use those tools to clarify the vision. It's like, what do you really want to achieve with your entrepreneurial activity? And for example, I have found the music therapy is really helpful for that, because it helps you to do journeys within, with imagery. And it's like, then it's like, first it's in your inner vision, and then you draw it on a paper, and it's like, wow, you're surprised. What have I seen here? It's not out in the paper, and it's already out of you. So it's like,
Yeah.
to get it out from this unconscious to a more conscious state, and realize, oh, wow, this is my vision. It's like not something that you know already, but it's like it arises from your unconscious, and you make it visible through different techniques. Yeah. The same with your purpose. Like, what is really moving me towards doing what I'm doing? Like in my case, like all the activities that I'm doing actually are there for people to experience that unity, to know that they are one with all on one hand side, but also unique. So it's like that unity is like bringing those two together. I can come from this wholeness, from this oneness, from this infinite space, and create something unique through my own talents. And it's like, this is like this feeling of unity. And that's, I feel, how we are going to live in the future, like to really have this in every, like it will pervade everything, like unity and love will be, and joy will be just a constant base frequency that we're going to have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You can't have war, and you can't be destructive when you're in unity consciousness, because what you're doing to another, you're doing to yourself. I agree with you
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
And in the same way, it's like we get more conscious about like our entrepreneurial activity, even like the values we can find out about them. It's like, this is like a really deep rooted beliefs of what and how we want to create what we're creating. It's like, it's our guiding lines, like, okay, I'm gonna do it in service to the world. I'm gonna do it in collaboration, for example, or whatever the values are that the person's gonna find. It's like, it narrows it down how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stay true to this, who my values. It's like, I want to do it in an authentic way that is aligned and in balance. So it's like, they are always there to guide me and show me when I'm off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it comes already more clear. For example, I can also tap into who are gonna be my clients and what am I gonna offer. So they're already like our entrepreneurial, something is getting a bit more concrete. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
already the third phase. It's like the becoming. It's like when you have like the seed, first it grows underground and then it sprouts out. So it's like still small. It doesn't have any flower or a fruit yet, but it's already growing, visible. So it's like, okay, I'm already getting more information about who am I going to work with, what I'm going to offer. And I can already start visualizing it even on a timeline. How am I going to do this? It's like, okay, first I will create more my product or service, or maybe I still have to do some training that I can do that, because often like we have a complete change of career. It's like maybe we're coming from one line of work and we need to do something completely different. We don't have the skills yet, and we do this first. Yeah. So to really then line it out, to have the vision in front of you, and knowing why you're getting there, and slowly break it down into goals and milestones. And it's like, then, okay, let me walk a few steps. And with your intuition, you will always be guided if you're still on track, because it's like, when we were doing business in like a very traditional way, we would do those things as well, but very with the linear logical mind. It would just be
Right.
like a box, one box after the other, like a machine, because it's like that's how we were thinking, that we are like a machine, but we are changing this paradigm that we are not a machine, but we are living divine beings. So it's different. It's like yes, we get some information, we do a step, and then we get more information. And it's like, even if we are still like not 100% clear, we still already go and we will be guided. And eventually, like when we look back, we see, wow, this is the path that we have walked. But beforehand, we don't know it. But we still
Yeah.
have to like do a step every time, a step in the unknown, trusting that the guidance will get us where we have to go. And I don't know what's your experience on this?
Yeah, exactly the same. The way I phrase it is our job is to define the what, why, what do we want to do and why do we want to do it, which is the heart part, right? And the universe tells us how. And I I agree 100%. It's a trust walk. You take one step, then the next thing shows up. You take another step, the next thing shows up. And that's how you know you're on the right path, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it's like step by step, it will like the plant, it'll grow and it will show the fruits. And then
Yeah.
it's the magical moment, as they where actually you are there, that you can share with the world. And it's like this
Yeah.
is the phase, the manifesting phase, where it's really tangible and we can, and like there's also lots to do. It's like, okay, how I'm going to communicate what I'm offering there, and to really talk with and get in contact with your clients, and how are you going to design that interaction, and that what you're going to give, what are you going to receive. It's like this is all a creative process as well. It's, you're free to do and be guided also how to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
a phase that a lot of people actually forget, like if we look at creation, it's like a cycle.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I'll show you on this little thing I have here, which is a torus field. It's like
Oh, that's awesome.
we are in the middle, like this is like where we start, and it's like it grows first the roots, and then we bring it out into the world, and then it's like we have to bring it back. Like, what do we have to bring back into the center? It's actually reflecting on our experience to say, okay, how did that go? And what can I learn from this? Because actually, we're not just growing the business, we are growing ourselves here. We're getting more conscious with anything that we are giving out. We're getting a
Yeah.
feedback, and we can learn and grow. And I feel this is like a real wonderful thing about spiritual entrepreneurship, that it's not just, hey, put out the stuff, but you are growing yourself whilst you're growing something for the world.
Yeah. Well said. I agree. The inner journey informs the outer journey. And you're right. A lot of people do forget to stop and look at what they've created and say, how'd it go? And not only from our perspective, but from those who participated in whatever we've offered. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also what I have noticed with myself, like especially when we are transitioning like from one job to the next, or like I have first had my holistic therapy practice, and as I got a new mission at a certain point, I had to close it down. And for me, it was a shock to say, okay, what am I going to do next? It's like, yes, I had the mission, but I thought I'm just going to take what I have done till now and just push it through. And like I was shown, no, this doesn't work. It's
Yeah.
like I had to first go through a crisis where I had to close down my business. I had to let go everything that I knew before, and I had to start afresh, studying again. And starting the business from zero again, not knowing what am I gonna do. And
Yeah.
in that phase, actually, where the old breaks down, that's what we call like the dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
And that's part of the entrepreneurial journey as well. It's like you get the call, you maybe say no, you still get a hunch, and then you get thrown into this dark night of the soul where it's like you have to face your fears, you have to face some blockages, you have
Mhm.
to, you can, it's like also an opportunity to find something, because when you look back through the previous phase that you have gone through, if you do this reflection process, you will see that in every cycle, like with as with the plants, it's like they have the fruit and they have already the seed for the next cycle. The same is with us. It's like whatever we are finishing, there's already the seed for the new, but we can't see it at the beginning. So it's like we need to somehow unpeel our experience so that just like the best nuggets, the gold is left over. And then we say, wow, this is actually, that stays. That's the only thing that I can bring here. It's like, it's my gift. It's what I have learned through this. That's what's gonna actually be the nurturing ground and also the seed for my new next journey.
Yeah. The seed informs what wants to be birthed next. And it's the tower moment for those who read tarot. It's that tower moment where everything's crumbling around you and you're going, what? It's a what?
Exactly.
and and everyone will go through multiple tower moments in their life. And I think
Yes.
some of the best advice that I can share, and I'd love to hear yours, is trust, keep moving, don't pitch a tent, don't pitch a tent and sit in the middle of the tower. Keep moving forward and be courageous because it's happening for your evolution and there's something even greater that wants to be expressed. And the final piece for me that I think is essential. Find somebody like yourself, Elisandra, or like me, or another coach. Find somebody you resonate with to say, okay, I'm in transition. I'm going through a tower moment. I'm birthing something new, and I have no idea where I'm going yet. I need support. I think that's essential. Would you agree?
I would agree. Yes. It's like to go through those moments on your own is even
Oh,
darker and more painful and slower, I think. And if you have someone that has gone through it and also knows the techniques that can
yeah,
help you to process things, because there might be things coming up that we feel we have resolved already, but it's like we
yeah,
have to revisit them on a deeper level, even like from our childhood, or some fears that we have already worked on, but they're showing up again.
yeah.
And it's like cleaning your house. It's like you have to do it again
Yes.
on another level to make space for the new, in a sense.
Yep.
And it's like that phase sometimes is called disintegration. So it's like you're disintegrating what you have created. And as we are not very skilled in this, because no one teaches us how to do that, it's like we associate it with pain, we associate it with distraction, and we have difficulty really to embrace that phase. And
Yeah.
I feel that's why someone that knows how to navigate that phase, if there's someone to hold space for you and know, tell you, hey, this is gonna go over. And for example, I have a tool, it's called Mari, where with symbols and colors, you can actually see where they are in their cycle. Yeah. And it's like you can actually see
Brilliant.
if they are in this disintegration, and also like often it's like on multiple, you're already birthing something or creating something new and you're still also dissolving. It's not such a linear thing, like one after the other. It's like it can be simultaneous, but I can see like with those cards, that maybe in 1 month, it's mostly like being in this disintegration and transformation phase. And maybe a little bit shows up already in the new. And then maybe 3 months later, it has already shifted. Yeah. And slowly, it's like coming to the new. And then it's like another cycle happens.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. I love that. And the grief and the loss, remembering that that's very temporary and natural and normal. It's uncomfortable, but you can do it. You can move through it. And I love how what I felt when you were speaking was part of a mentor's journey is to remind you of the destination and to hold the hope and the joy and the visions, even if you don't have it fully formed. I agree. Brilliantly said.
Yeah, I agree with you, because it's like, as we have gone through this, and also we have the tools to guide people through, it's like I think as you as well, like you have this intuitive and visionary function, right? That you can already see ahead and you already can see their potential, even if they don't yet. So it's like we can already hold and sense the new, and we know it's there. And like, as we hold this, it gives them hope, it holds them. And even if they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, we already can see it. We know it's there because we have gone through it ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And by holding that, they can also feel the energy, which I think is really important. They don't know what it is, but it feeds that hope. Wow. I feel like we could talk about this forever because I love your perspectives. And what I most love is how you've put it into easily digestible packages. Like, okay, you're here, and here's where you're going. And I had a client say that to me this week. I want a roadmap. That's what people want. They want a map so that they have an understanding of what evolution looks like, so that they can feel like they're succeeding even when things are disintegrating.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Beautiful. So, unfortunately, our time's come to an end. And I do say unfortunately because I'm sure we could talk for hours. What, please share where everybody can find you, how they can work with you. And I think you have some resources that you wanted to share with our audience as well.
Yes, they can actually find everything on my webpage, which is co-creationcenter.com. And there you will find like 4 mini coachings that can give you and help you like to download and get some goals and some clarity on the first action steps. So it's like you can do it a lot of times whenever you need it. So they can get it from the webpage. Also, they can contact me through the webpage, or they can find me like a regular post on Facebook and LinkedIn. They can find me there. I also want to expand further, but that's like my next step, to be more on YouTube and
Yeah.
maybe TikTok. So that's my next level step. And if they want to write me an email, it's contact@cocreationcenter.com. And they can work with me either individually or regularly also do group programs where we actually do all those steps together and like go into more depth of understanding that process. It's an 11-week process. And the next one I'm gonna start in June, and the one after in October. So it's also already on the webpage. They can find it there. And if there is anything that they are doubtful for, it's like I'm always open to just chat for half an hour and see where they're at, and if there is any way I can support them.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for offering that. I know that time is valuable, and to be a part of somebody's solution is brilliant. And thank you. This has been an absolutely inspiring conversation. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you, Teresa, for inviting me. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe, and I will make sure that all of the links for you to find Elisenda are on the notes below. So be well, be wise, and we'll talk again soon.